Hi, I'm Maggie Hoff. I'm an industrial hygienist from NICAM. We're going to be talking about disinfecting elastomeric respirators today. And in order to protect you from dangerous chemicals and from exposure to COVID-19 and other viruses, it's important to use the following cleaning procedures to disinfect your half-face elastomeric respirator. Please remember that COVID-19 can remain viable on a surface up to 72 hours. The best practice is to have a half-face respirator for each worker so that they do not have to be shared. However, with the current shortages that we have across the country, they may have to be shared, and that may not always be possible. If an elastomeric respirator is not properly cleaned or decontaminated, a worker with COVID-19 may possibly infect co-workers using the same respirator. Some workers may not be visibly ill, but they could still infect another worker if they have the virus unknowingly. Clean after every use. An elastomeric half-face respirator should be cleaned and decontaminated after each use. This is because the respirator can carry the COVID virus and other harmful chemicals, as well as facial residuals. By using these simple steps, cleaning a half-face respirator can be a fairly quick and easy process. So let's move on to the cleaning materials that you'll need in order to do this process. First of all, you'll need clean towels. You'll need goggles to protect your eyes. You'll need nitrile gloves because we're dealing with bleach. You'll need a bleach that you're going to dilute. You'll need some cleaning detergent. You'll need a tablespoon to measure out the bleach. And you'll need a couple of basins in order to do the process. You'll need a soft bristle brush in order to gently clean the surface of the respirator. And you'll need some tongs in order to keep the thing submerged. You'll need to find a well-ventilated cleaning location. Once you've assembled all your cleaning materials, get them together next to a sink if possible, which makes it easier to rinse. If you don't have access to a sink, set out an extra tub which can act as a cleaning sink, and just fill that with lukewarm water. So you want to make sure you're wearing your protective equipment. So I'm putting on my goggles and my gloves. And the first thing to do is to disassemble the respirator. The cartridges are easily removed. They would be wiped down if necessary. And the disassembly of the respirator itself depends on the manufacturer's instructions. In this case, we're going to remove the harness and prepare it for the cleaning in this way. Warm water here. We're going to add some soap to it. We're going to mix that up a little bit. It's a little bit soapy. This is the cleaning part of the process. We take our respirator, which we've disassembled, and we put it into the soapy water. Now what you'll notice is it floats around a little bit. The brush is used to wash all the surfaces of the respirator, both the harness and the respirator itself, being careful to touch all the surfaces and making sure that we clean the inside, especially the part that's touching your face, and gently doing the surface of the interior of the respirator. Once you've cleaned it with a brush, we'll move over to the sink. And we'll rinse it with running water. Okay. So after we've done our cleaning of the surface of our respirator, we're going to do the disinfecting. We're going to take a gallon of water and we're going to add 5 tablespoons of bleach carefully to the water. Being careful not to splash if possible. still count. Okay, make sure you put the cap on your bleach. And remember, we're doing this in a ventilated area. Stir it up a bit to make the mixture. And then we're going to submerge the respirator and the pieces in this bleach solution. And what we're going to be doing with the tongs is pushing it down under the surface because it's going to want to float. You have it on one side, turn it over to the other side so we get out all the air bubbles, and then turn it to the other side again. And make sure that it's submerged while you're doing this process, completely submerged for 2 minutes. Okay, so our 2 minutes are up, and we're going to go over to the sink and rinse off our respirator carefully. And using running water is the best. Try to get all the liquid out and carefully rinse as much as possible. So I just want to point out here that it's very important to rinse it carefully and thoroughly so that any surface bleach is off of the respirator, because that can irritate your skin and it can also deteriorate your respirator. Now at this point, we've already done our cleaning, and we can at this point take off the gloves and we can dry the assembly and reassemble it. Okay, so once your respirator has been thoroughly dried, you reassemble it. And you want to very carefully verify that the valves on the interior, the exhalation and the inhalation valves, are lying flat and not waffly. As far as the cartridges, if these have been reused, if they are to be reused, you want to wipe the exterior down with a decontaminating wipe before putting them back on the cartridge. And again, it depends on what cartridges you're using and so on. At least the exterior can be wiped down. Before replacing them on the respirator. And of course, you want to be very careful to screw these down carefully, make sure all your valves are in good shape, and you're good to go.